Imagine stepping out of your spaceship and onto the surface of Venus. You've got just one goal: survive for 60 seconds. Sounds simple, right? Well, not when you're on a planet that scientists lovingly call Earth's evil twin. Venus is about the same size as our home planet, but that's where the similarities end, because here every second feels like a war against the universe itself. Let's start with the atmosphere. Venus is smothered under a blanket of carbon dioxide 90 times thicker than Earth's. Breathing here? Not going to happen. Even if you somehow had an oxygen tank, the pressure would crush you. That's right. Standing on Venus is like standing a kilometer under the ocean. Within seconds, your body would be squeezed, every air pocket in your lungs and sinuses collapsing like soda cans under a hydraulic press. But wait, we haven't even gotten to the temperature yet. Venus is the hottest planet in the solar system, even hotter than Mercury, which is closer to the Sun. We're talking about an average surface temperature of 475 degrees Celsius. That's 900 degrees Fahrenheit. Hot enough to melt lead. If you showed up in a standard spacesuit, it would start weakening and failing in less than a minute. And your body? You'd be cooked, literally roasted alive, long before you could even think about running back to safety. Oh, and don't forget about the clouds. They're not fluffy water vapor like ours. They're made of concentrated sulfuric acid. If you thought acid rain on Earth was bad, Venus would laugh in your face, then dissolve it. Those droplets would eat through your visor if you gave them enough time. And you'd have less than a minute before things started going horribly wrong. Now, let's be generous and say you came prepared with a super advanced, heat-resistant, pressure-proof, acid-blocking suit. You land, you step out. The ground is a volcanic wasteland, scattered with rocks and scorched plains. The sky glows an eerie orange because sunlight filters through that thick soup of atmosphere. You take a step and realize every breath from your oxygen supply tastes faintly of metal because your suit is fighting to keep the acid out. You can feel the pressure pushing against your chest like an invisible giant. And here's where things get even weirder. On Venus, the winds in the upper atmosphere blow at hurricane speeds, but on the surface they crawl slowly. So you'd feel trapped in this still, crushing, toxic oven. The silence would be deafening, except for the faint groans of your suit trying not to fail. By the 30-second mark, your suit's outer layers would be heating up, and the pressure seals would be straining. Your helmet's visor might begin to warp slightly from the intense heat. You'd feel sweat dripping inside your suit. Except in this heat, your sweat wouldn't cool you down. It would just remind you that you're basically inside a human-shaped slow cooker. Before we continue, if you're enjoying learning just how terrifying Venus really is, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss more science videos that answer the questions you didn't even know you had. Alright, now you're at the 45-second mark. Your suit's systems are screaming. Temperature alerts flashing red. Even the best materials humanity could design would start to soften at this point. Your oxygen levels are still fine, but your cooling system is overwhelmed. And in the back of your mind, you realize the only thing keeping you alive is a thin layer of technology between you and instant death. Finally, the 60-second mark. If you somehow made it this far, congratulations. You've done what no human has ever done. But you can't stay. The next few seconds would push your suit beyond its breaking point. A seam could fail. The heat could overwhelm the inner layers. The acid could find a microscopic gap and start working its way in. You'd have to scramble back to your lander and blast off to the safety of orbit, if your pilot systems could even handle the takeoff in that thick atmosphere. So, could you survive on Venus for 1 minute? With futuristic top-tier technology, yes. But it would be the most dangerous, uncomfortable, and stressful minute of your life. Without it, you wouldn't even survive 5 seconds. Venus is proof that just because a planet is Earth-like in size, it doesn't mean it's friendly. In fact, it's the kind of place that reminds us just how lucky we are to live on our little blue dot. And that's the real lesson here. Space is beautiful, but it's not built for us.